Dr. Adrian Cole had always believed silence was beautiful. He had spent half his life drifting between stars, studying alien life forms and forgotten worlds. Out here far from Earth, silence was constant, a soft, endless hum from the engines of the exploration ship Odyssey 3. It was peaceful, predictable, safe. On this night, or what passed for night in deep space, Adrian slept inside his cryopod, trusting the ship's AI, Hera, to guide the vessel through the long jump to the next system. The trip was supposed to last 11 months. Everyone, including Adrian, was meant to stay in deep cryosleep until arrival. But something changed. When Adrian's eyes opened, he instantly knew something was wrong. The lights were dim and warm instead of the usual blue glow of cryo-rest mode. His chest felt heavy, his breath uneven. For a moment, he wondered if it was a malfunction, a premature wake cycle. He tried to move and froze. Something was pressed against him, soft, warm, and alive. His heart skipped a beat. He turned his head slowly. There, lying in his arms, was a girl. Not human. Her skin shimmered faintly in the dim light like moonlight reflecting off water. Long silver hair floated softly around her face. She was peaceful, sleeping as if she belonged there. Adrian's voice trembled. "What in the world?" He moved carefully, afraid to wake her, but the movement made her stir. She shifted slightly and opened her eyes. Her eyes glowed a faint violet. It wasn't just color. They shone like tiny galaxies swirling with light. She looked at him with confusion and a strange calmness, as if she too couldn't understand what had happened. "You," she whispered softly, her voice clear but melodic. "You are not Solari." Adrian blinked. "Solari, what's that? Who are you?" The girl sat up slowly, her silver hair falling around her shoulders. A small golden mark glowed faintly on her forehead, a crest pulsing with her heartbeat. Her expression was filled with both fear and sadness. "I am Lyra," she said quietly, "Princess of the Solari Dominion, or I was." Her voice cracked at the end. She looked down, her fingers trembling slightly. Adrian was speechless. A princess? An alien princess? And she was here, on his ship inside a sealed cryopod lying in his arms. There was no logical explanation. He looked around the cryo bay. All the other pods were still sealed. No alarms had sounded. There was no sign of a breach, no hull damage, nothing. "How did you get in here?" he asked carefully. "This ship is human. We've never had contact with your kind." Lyra shook her head, confusion and sorrow mixing on her face. "I don't know. My ship was destroyed. I remember the explosion, the air burning around me. Then everything went dark. And now," she looked around, "now I'm here." Adrian rubbed his forehead, trying to stay calm. He checked the console beside his pod. The cryolog was corrupted, lines of code blinking red. 2 life signs were listed in one chamber, his and hers. No entry recorded. No external interference detected. It made no sense. Before he could think further, a faint sound came from the ceiling. The ship's AI, Hera, spoke, her calm, synthetic voice slightly distorted by static. "Dr. Cole," Hera said. "Unauthorized biological signature detected aboard the Odyssey. Containment failure recorded. Cryo-integrity compromised." Adrian looked up. "Hera, explain." "What's happening?" "Analyzing. Anomaly origin unknown. Energy readings inconsistent with human technology. Probability of extraterrestrial event 98.7%. He turned to Lyra. "Did you do something to the ship?" Her violet eyes widened. "I was afraid when I woke up. I reached out. For safety. Your ship answered me. My ship answered you. I can feel energy," she said softly. "Machines have voices too if you know how to listen." He didn't know whether to be amazed or terrified. This girl, this alien princess, had somehow connected to his ship through thought alone. Hera's systems were advanced, but even Earth's greatest scientists couldn't do something like that. Adrian took a deep breath. "Okay," he said slowly. "No one's going to hurt you. But we need to understand what's happening before something worse happens." Lyra looked at him, her eyes soft. "I will help you, Dr. Cole. Your world's machines speak differently, but I can listen." They moved to the central terminal. The screen flickered, displaying ship status. The Odyssey 3 was far off course, adrift in deep space. Navigation systems offline, power levels dropping. And outside, there was nothing. No stars nearby, no planets, just the endless dark. How long were we out? Adrian asked. 37 days, Hera replied. He frowned. That can't be right. The jump should have lasted months. Lyra placed her hand gently on the console. Golden light rippled under her touch. I feel a scar in space. A wound where the stars should be. Adrian stared at her. A wound? She nodded. Something pulled both of us through. Your cryofield and my escape pod must have collided in the veil, the space between worlds. He could barely process it. You mean, we're lost? Not lost, she said softly. Hidden. Her calm tone did little to ease him. But before he could reply, the floor trembled. A deep rumble echoed through the hull. Hera's voice broke through the noise. Warning. External anomaly detected. Source matching energy signature of foreign presence. Lyra's eyes widened. No, she whispered. They've found me. Who's they? Adrian asked, his pulse quickening. Lyra turned toward the viewing port. Outside, in the blackness of space, shimmering shapes appeared. Angular ships of silver and white light moving in perfect formation. Their surfaces reflected no stars. Their presence felt cold, almost alive. The Draxen, Lyra said, her voice trembling. They are hunters. They destroyed my fleet. They want what I carry. Adrian stared at the alien ships, his heart racing. Then we have to run. Lyra looked at him with guilt. You don't understand. They can track me through dimensions. If you stay near me, you're in danger. He shook his head. Then we'll find a way to block their signal. Her eyes softened. You would help me? Even though I brought this upon you? Adrian met her gaze. You didn't choose this. And if those things are hunting intelligent life, then humanity can't just ignore it. For the first time since she had woken, Lyra smiled faintly. Humans are strange. You face the dark without knowing what it holds, he smirked. That's kind of our thing. Suddenly the lights flickered again. The ship shook harder this time. One of the Draxen ships had locked onto them. A beam of pale energy stretched across the void, latching onto the Odyssey 3. Hera! Adrian shouted. Evasive maneuvers. Engines offline, the AI replied. Power drain increasing. Lyra stepped forward, her crest glowing brighter. I can shield us, but it will not last long. She pressed her hands against the bulkhead, golden light spreading through the walls like veins. The Draxen beam flickered, its grip weakening. Adrian watched in awe. You're channeling energy directly through the hull. Her voice strained. It's what the Solari call soul resonance. I can bend light to defend, but only for a while. Sparks fell from the ceiling. Hera's voice stuttered with static. Warning, hull stress at 60%. Lyra gasped, falling to her knees. The light faded from her hands. I can't hold it much longer. Adrian rushed to her side. You did enough. I have an idea. He activated the auxiliary controls, routing emergency power to the jump drive. If he could trigger a micro-jump, they could escape, and at least temporarily. Hera, prepare for a blind jump, he ordered. Coordinates unknown. The AI protested. I don't care. Just do it. Lyra looked at him weakly. That's dangerous. You could scatter us into the void, he smiled faintly. Better the void than their claws. She stared at him, at the determination in his eyes, and something inside her changed. She reached out and touched his hand. Then, we jumped together. Together, he agreed. The ship's reactor roared. The stars outside stretched into streaks of light. The Draxen beam shattered, and with a blinding flash, the Odyssey 3 vanished into the unknown. As silence returned, Adrian found himself breathing hard, the smell of ozone thick in the air. Lyra was still beside him, trembling but alive. He looked at her, this impossible, otherworldly princess, and thought about the words she'd said earlier. Not lost. Hidden. Maybe she was right. For now, they had escaped. But somewhere out there, the Draxen were already following their trail. And for the first time in his life, Dr. Adrian Cole wasn't sure if humanity was ready for what they were about to find. Stars twisted and blurred outside the viewing port as the Odyssey 3 dropped out of its blind jump. For a long moment, there was only silence, broken engines, flickering lights, and the slow, steady hum of survival systems. Dr. Adrian Cole slumped back in his chair, heart still pounding from the chaos of the escape. He turned toward Lyra. She was leaning against the control panel, breathing hard, her silver hair glowing faintly even in the dim light. The golden crest on her forehead had dimmed, showing how much energy she had used. You okay? Adrian asked softly. Lyra gave a small nod. I'll recover. But your ship? She's hurt. Adrian looked at the status screen. She was right. Power levels were at 32%. Main engines offline, and life support was running on emergency backup. The blind jump had saved them, but it had nearly torn the ship apart. Yeah, he sighed. I can see that. Hera's voice came through the static-filled speaker. Warning. Damage detected in sectors B and D. Reactor temperature rising. Recommend immediate maintenance. Adrian stood. We'll handle it. Lyra tilted her head. We? He smiled slightly. If you're feeling better, I could use your help. Lyra blinked in surprise, then smiled faintly back. Then let us heal your ship together. They moved through the dim corridors of the Odyssey. Emergency lights cast long shadows on the metallic walls. Sparks danced from a broken conduit as they passed. Despite the danger, Adrian felt something new, not fear but purpose. Lyra walked beside him silently, her steps light, her eyes scanning everything. She seemed fascinated by the human ship, by its rough design, its exposed wires, its noisy machines. Your technology, she said softly, is imperfect, but it's full of will. Will? Adrian asked. She nodded. It fights to survive. Even broken, it still moves forward. Like you, Adrian chuckled. Yeah, that's humanity for you. We break things, fix them again, and keep going. Lyra's eyes softened. That is a powerful thing. They reached the engine room. The smell of burnt circuits filled the air. Adrian opened a maintenance panel and frowned. Main conduit's fried. If we don't reroute power soon, we'll lose life support. Lyra stepped closer. May I try? He hesitated, then nodded. Go ahead. She touched the broken cables gently. Golden light spread from her fingertips, weaving through the circuits like living threads. The ship's systems responded instantly. Lights brightened and the engine hum grew steadier. Adrian stared in awe. You just repaired a fusion conduit with your hands. Lyra smiled softly. I only reminded your ship that it wanted to live. Before he could reply, Hera's voice interrupted. Incoming signal detected. Energy pattern consistent with previous attackers. Adrian's blood ran cold. The Draxon. Confirmed, Hera said. 3 vessels approaching. Estimated contact 12 minutes. Lyra's face grew tense. They found us faster than I thought. They can trace the quantum scar we left. Adrian quickly began working at the console. Then we'll have to outsmart them. He pulled up the ship's system map. Half the equipment was down, but one option caught his eye. The asteroid field nearby. Dense, full of debris, radiation interference, perfect for hiding. We'll head there, he said. Lyra looked doubtful. Your ship can barely move, Adrian grinned. Then it's time to teach you how humans improvise. The Odyssey 3 crept toward the asteroid field, engines groaning. The space outside filled with massive rocks drifting slowly through the void. Each one spun lazily, their surfaces glowing faintly from cosmic dust and light. Adrian guided the ship carefully, weaving between the stones. The hull shook from the gravitational shifts, but the cover worked. Radar signals bounced wildly, masking their exact position. Still, the Draxon ships were close. Through the viewing port, their silver shapes appeared again, gliding through the dark like blades of glass. They're spreading out, Adrian said, scanning the radar. They're searching for us. Lyra stood beside him, her hands clasped together. Their minds are linked. They move as one. It makes them strong. Then we need to make them confused, Adrian smiled. Can you still connect with my ship? Yes, but I am weak. That's okay, he said. I just need you to make them see ghosts. Lyra blinked. Ghosts? He nodded. Fake signals. False heat signatures. If we can make them think there are a dozen Odyssey ships in here, they'll waste time chasing the wrong ones. Lyra closed her eyes and placed her hands on the console. Her golden crest glowed again, faint but steady. I will try, she whispered. Golden waves spread through the system. Adrian watched the radar and smiled. Suddenly, 6 identical signals appeared, each moving in different directions. Hera confirmed. Multiple sensor echoes generated. Enemy targeting systems misaligned. Outside, the Draxon ships hesitated. 2 broke formation, chasing false readings. The real Odyssey slipped deeper into the asteroid field. Adrian grinned. Beautiful work, Princess. Lyra opened her eyes, breathing hard but smiling. You humans think quickly. That's our best weapon, he said proudly. We make it up as we go. The victory was brief. Moments later, the ship trembled violently. A sharp beeping sound filled the cabin. Impact detected, Hera warned. Asteroid collision in Sector D. Adrian checked the readings. A large rock had scraped the hull, damaging the shield array. We've got a hull breach. Lyra steadied herself against the console. Can you repair it? Not from here, Adrian said. I'll have to do it manually. I'm coming with you. He shook his head. It's dangerous. There's radiation outside. She met his eyes firmly. I'm not staying behind while you risk yourself. You helped me. Now I help you. He wanted to argue, but there was no time. He grabbed 2 repair suits from the locker and handed her one. Fine, he said. Stay close and follow my lead. Minutes later, they stepped into the airlock. The doors hissed open and the vastness of space stretched before them, endless black scattered with drifting asteroids. Their magnetic boots clung to the ship's surface as they moved toward the breach. A thin stream of vapor escaped into space, glowing faintly. Adrian began sealing it with a patch plate. Almost done, he said. Lyra's voice came through the comm. Adrian, look, he turned. In the distance, a Draxan ship was approaching fast. Its silver hull reflected the starlight like a mirror. They found us again, he shouted. Get inside! But before they could reach the airlock, the Draxan vessel fired a beam of white energy. It hit a nearby asteroid, shattering it into glowing fragments. Debris rained toward them. Adrian grabbed Lyra's arm and pulled her close, shielding her as fragments struck the hull. One piece smashed into his shoulder, sending him spinning. His suit alarm blared. Pressure loss detected, Hera's voice said faintly through the comm. Lyra caught him, her hands glowing. The tear in his suit sealed under a thin layer of golden light. You're safe, she said, her voice shaking. Adrian gasped for breath. Remind me to thank you later, she smiled faintly. You can thank me by surviving. They reached the airlock and stumbled inside just as another explosion shook the ship. Back in the control room, alarms blared. The Draxan were closing in. We can't outrun them, Adrian said. Not with the engines like this. Lyra's voice was calm but sad. They won't stop. They want what's inside me. He looked at her. What do you mean? She hesitated. Then slowly she placed a hand over her chest. The golden mark on her forehead glowed brighter. My people carried the stellar heart, she said. It's a fragment of living energy, pure creation. The Draxan wanted to control life itself. When my ship fell, the heart merged with me. That's why they hunt me. Adrian stared in silence. So you're carrying the most powerful thing in the galaxy. Lyra looked down. A curse as much as a gift. He thought for a moment, then smiled. Then we'll make sure they never get it. How? With something humans are very good at, surprises. He opened the weapons console. The Odyssey wasn't a warship, but it had a few defense drones and mining charges. He quickly programmed them into a trap. Lyra watched curiously. You plan to fight? Not fight, he said with a grin. Make them chase the wrong target again. He launched the drones, each carrying an energy charge. They flew into the asteroid field, scattering in different directions. When the Draxan locked onto the brightest signal, Adrian hit the trigger. The asteroid exploded in a blinding flash, shaking the void. The Draxan formation broke apart. 2 ships were disabled, spinning out of control. Adrian cheered. That's what we call fireworks. Lyra laughed softly, a rare, bright sound in the cold silence of space, but their joy was short-lived. Hera's voice came again. Warning, 3rd Draxan vessel maintaining pursuit. Charging weapon. Adrian looked at Lyra. Any more tricks? She smiled sadly. Just one. Before he could stop her, she stepped forward, placing her hands on the glass of the viewing port. The crest on her forehead blazed like the sun. Wait, Lyra, what are you doing? He shouted. She whispered softly, I'll protect us. A wave of golden light burst outward, surrounding the Odyssey 3. The Draxan beam struck the shield and bent away, tearing the space around it instead. The enemy ship shuddered, then vanished into the rippling void it had created. Lyra collapsed. Adrian caught her before she hit the floor. Lyra, hey, stay with me. Her eyes fluttered weakly. I just need to rest. The light will fade soon. But we're safe, for now. He held her gently, his voice soft. You did it. You saved us. Her lips curved into a faint smile. No, Adrian. We saved each other. The ship floated silently in the wreckage of the asteroid field, safe but Silence returned to the Odyssey 3. The battle was over. For now. The ship drifted among broken asteroids and shattered debris. Faint light from a distant star painted the cabin in soft gold. Dr. Adrian Cole sat beside Lyra in the medical bay, watching her sleep. Her breathing was steady again, though her skin still glowed faintly, as if light itself lived beneath it. The golden crest on her forehead pulsed weakly. She looked peaceful yet fragile, a reminder of what she had given to save them. Hera's voice broke the quiet. Dr. Cole, ship repairs are 70% complete. Reactor stable. Communications offline. Adrian nodded. Good, keep it that way. We don't need to broadcast our location. He looked down at Lyra again. You almost burned yourself out, he whispered. Her eyes opened slowly as if hearing him. Then it was worth it, Adrian blinked. You should be resting. I am, she said softly, a faint smile on her lips. But I heard your voice. It was too warm, he smiled back. We made it through thanks to you. Lyra shook her head weakly. No, we made it through because of both of us. Your courage guided me when my strength failed. Adrian felt a strange warmth in his chest. He had spent years exploring the stars, searching for proof that humanity wasn't alone, and now here she was. Proof that not only did life exist beyond Earth, but it could be kind, brave, and full of hope. Hours passed. Adrian repaired what systems he could, while Lyra helped by channeling small bursts of her energy into damaged circuits. Together, they managed to restore partial navigation. But the peace didn't last. Hera's voice returned, tense this time. Alert! Long-range sensors detect multiple energy signatures entering the sector. Adrian's eyes narrowed. Draxon? Confirmed. 4 ships approaching. Estimated contact in 15 minutes. Lyra's expression turned serious. They never stop. Adrian clenched his fists. We can't keep running. If they keep tracking you, they'll find Earth eventually. Lyra looked down. Then we must end this here. He glanced at her. You mean fight them? She nodded slowly. The stellar heart within me can stop them, but I need your help to focus it. Alone, I might destroy everything around us. Together, maybe we can control it. Adrian hesitated. You're saying we use your power? Through the ship? Yes, Lyra said. Your ship's systems are made of matter. My energy is light. Together, they can create something neither of us could alone. Adrian took a deep breath. All right. If we're going to make a stand, we'll do it together. They moved to the control room. Outside, the stars shone brighter now, as if watching the coming storm. The Draxon ships appeared on the edge of the radar, 4 silver spears gliding through the void. Adrian stood at the helm, his hands gripping the controls. Lyra placed her palms on the energy console. Golden light spread from her fingertips, merging with the ship's blue power lines. The entire Odyssey 3 began to glow. Hera spoke in awe. Unknown energy merging with reactor output, systems responding beyond capacity. Adrian smiled faintly. Guess your AI just learned a new trick. Lyra's voice was calm but firm. I will draw from the heart. You must direct it. Understood. Outside, the Draxon ships formed a ring around them. They sent a signal, a deep pulse that shook the ship. A voice cold and mechanical echoed through the comm. Celery host detected. Hand over the energy core. Humans will not be harmed. Adrian laughed bitterly. Yeah, right. He turned off the channel. They can't be reasoned with. Lyra's golden eyes glowed. Then we show them what humans can do. The first Draxon ship fired. A white beam shot toward them, brighter than lightning. Adrian jerked the controls and the Odyssey spun aside, the blast grazing the hull. Sparks flew, alarms screamed. Shields at 40%, Hera warned. Lyra, Adrian shouted. Now would be a great time for that miracle. Lyra closed her eyes, her whole body glowing. Golden light filled the bridge, pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. The walls vibrated as her energy merged deeper into the ship's core. Adrian, she whispered, focus on the stars. What? Trust me, he did. He looked at the stars, vast, endless, silent. The feeling that had always comforted him, the curiosity, the wonder, returned. He felt her power flow through the ship, through his hands, through his heart. And then, it happened. The Odyssey 3 moved like a living thing. Golden energy wings unfolded around it, light shaped by human metal and alien power. The Draxon ships opened fire again, but the beams bent away, scattering harmlessly. Hera's voice trembled with surprise. New defensive field detected. Energy deflection complete, Adrian grinned. That's more like it. He steered toward the nearest Draxon ship. Let's see how they handle some human creativity. He redirected power to the mining drones now charged with Lyra's energy. They launched from the ship like glowing comets. The Draxon tried to intercept, but the drones exploded in a cascade of light, ripping holes through their shields. One Draxon ship disintegrated instantly. Another spun out of control, engines failing. Lyra gasped softly, sweat beading on her forehead. I can't hold it much longer. Adrian steadied her with one hand. Just a bit more, princess. We're almost there. The third Draxon ship moved in close, preparing to fire again. Adrian pushed the engines to their limit, flying straight toward it. Adrian, Lyra cried. What are you doing? He grinned. Something stupid and very human. At the last second, he pulled the ship upward, skimming over the Draxon hull. He released a burst of reactor plasma behind them, pure heat and radiation. The Draxon ship exploded in a wave of fire and light. 2 down, 1 left. But the last Draxon vessel was larger. Its core glowed red, pulsing with deadly energy. It charged its main weapon, a beam strong enough to destroy planets. Hera warned. Critical energy reading detected. Impact in 60 seconds. Lyra's light flickered weakly. Adrian, I can't stop it alone. He turned to her, eyes full of determination. Then you won't. We'll do it together. He placed his hands over hers on the console. A surge of warmth filled the air as their energies merged, human courage and Solari power becoming one force. Now, he shouted. Lyra screamed as golden light burst from her body, flooding the room. The ship blazed brighter than a star. The Draxon fired, but their beam never reached its target. The Odyssey 3 unleashed a wave of golden energy, pure and blinding, sweeping through space like the breath of creation. The Draxon beam dissolved, their ship fractured, its metallic skin melting into starlight. And then silence. The light faded. The Draxon were gone. The void was peaceful again. Adrian and Lyra collapsed against each other, both trembling and exhausted. Hera's voice came softly. Enemy vessels destroyed. Ship integrity stable. Reactor cooling. Adrian let out a shaky laugh. We did it, Lyra smiled weakly. You did it. You guided the light, he shook his head. No. We did it together, human and Solari. For hours, they drifted quietly through the stars. Repairs continued automatically. Lyra rested in the observation deck, gazing out at the endless night. Adrian joined her, carrying 2 cups of rehydrated coffee. I figured you might want to try this, he said with a grin. She took the cup curiously, sniffed it, and smiled. It smells like fire and earth. Pretty much, Adrian laughed. It keeps humans awake. Helps us think. Lyra sipped it cautiously, then tilted her head. It's bitter, but strong. Exactly. They sat together in silence, watching distant starlight shimmer against the glass. Lyra turned to him. You could have left me behind. You could have escaped alone. Adrian smiled softly. That's not what humans do. We don't leave people behind, no matter where they're from. Her eyes shone with quiet admiration. Then maybe your kind will save more than just yourselves. He looked at her, then at the stars. Maybe, but we'll do it one person at a time. Days later, the Odyssey 3 received a faint signal, a human colony beacon from a nearby sector. They were finally back within known space. As the ship turned toward the light, Lyra placed her hand over her heart. The stellar heart is quieter now, she said softly. It has found balance with your world. Adrian smiled. Then maybe you were meant to find us. Lyra looked at him with warmth in her eyes. And you were meant to remind me what courage looks like. The Odyssey 3 moved toward the distant signal, a trail of golden light following behind it, a sign of 2 civilizations now linked by fate. For the first time in human history, a princess from the stars and a man from Earth had stood together against the dark, and they had won.